shall we try again? And this time with a better audio. Salom Bacha! Welcome to this Monday stream of Las Plumas de Simur. Apologies for the fake stream before. Now everything shall be perfect, but please do let me know because we run into an audio problem. Thank you KU Mars 1 for letting me know because no one else was. Oh, but I was just talking and I didn't realize that I had a problem with the microphone. So if you can actually tell me if this is better and if you can actually hear me properly now without no interference whatsoever, no problems at all, I would be entirely grateful for that. But yeah, thank you. Oh my god, I had a tiny heart attack because I really thought there was a major problem with the audio. Turns out it wasn't. It was a really silly mistake of mine, but it's sorted out, and yeah, you should be hearing me properly now. Please, someone, I know you're the quiet type, just like my students, but please, this is the moment for you to say if you can hear me or not. I'm rather scared of keeping carrying on talking because I really don't know if you can actually hear me or what. Let's hope you can. I actually hope you can hear me. I don't even know if anyone's here. We can hear you. That is alright, perfect. Thank you, Caio Mars, by the way. One of the best names ever. Thank you for letting me know before, and thank you, No Soy Ros, for the patience. And so yeah, welcome to this Monday stream. Hosh Omadid, you are very welcome to the stream of Las Plumas de Simur. My name is Plumas, and I shall be your host for the afternoon. An afternoon of reading and literature, because today we resume the reading of the Book of Kings, or reading aloud and commentary reading, but I cannot start without thanking, just appreciating the effort of so many people that's behind. Thank you to everyone who's followed the channel. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. You help me greatly with this. And special shout out to my patrons, my family of Patreon, they always have my back basically, and the main reason I'm here. So thank you especially to my members, my tier Murshid and my tier Ashdod. Thank you so much, Bacha. You are the best. You are my sunshine, my only sun. You will excuse today for this afternoon I bring you this voice. The voice, which is the voice from the void. Actually, I have a cold. I caught a cold. Thank you to everyone who's wished me well, and you're so sweet. You've sent so many messages of have a prompt recovery, rest well, blah blah blah, and in fact, it sounds worse than it is because it's just a regular cold. I have the habit of catching at least once per year, and that normally coincides with the arrival of spring. So you know what? I celebrated Nowruz over the weekend, and now I have my cold, which is my New Year's gift. We're gonna give it like that. So today, actually, I am very excited because we are gonna start one of the most beautiful parts of the Book of Kings. My personal favorite. I know. If you've been here long enough, you know that I say that about basically all the parts of the Shāh-nāmeh, but this one. My favorite cycle is indeed Zahog's, but this one, today we are gonna meet the most important character in the book, at least for me, because she is the reason I am here, and she gives name to my project, and that is a very big hint, by the way, and I am very excited about it. I have my tea with me. Today I have a beautiful brewed Chinese white tea with a lot of things. I know it has red things. I promised myself I will memorize all the mixtures and brews that I have, and that is a very big fat lie because I haven't. But it's tea. I know it's Chinese. I know it's white tea. Did I say white tea? Yes, it's Chinese white tea. So yeah. It's really nice and really warm. It's fantastic for my throat, and it reminds me a lot of Iroh, Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I don't know if you've watched, but in case you haven't, maybe you should have a look. That there's not a live stream without me recommending Avatar. I'm not paid, by the way. Nickelodeon does not pay me to, I'm not sponsored. Nickelodeon does not pay me to promote Avatar, but just like it. Let me just fix something quick on the lighting. Ooh, that too? Yeah, it took one. There we go. All right. So, how are you, Shāh? Are you excited? Are you ready? All right. Where do we come from at this point? I'm just gonna like a little recap of what we've seen so far. So basically, last time we were reading the Shāh-nāmeh. By the way, if this is the first time you put by, first of all, salam azizam, hello, welcome to Las Plumas de Simur. We're reading the Book of Kings, which is a big deal. If you ask me, this is the best book that has been ever written, not in history of Iranian literature, but in history of the world, as in like generally the best book, this one. And we reached part 10. My God, part 10 already, and we've read so little. Man, I read slow. What? Right, but that is because I do a comment on almost everything we come across. Yes, that's my job here. That's the reason I opened this project. But if you want to hear or watch the rest of them, there's a playlist on my channel with all the episodes. You can also find them on my pinned tweet on my Twitter. And you shall find all the episodes. And if there's a moment that you actually cannot find them, but you'd like to listen to them, let me know and I will facilitate them to you. So, as I was saying, hello Edda88, how are you? And so, the Book of Kings, the last time we read, we witnessed a very big bloodshed. And I'm not saying this in a detrimental way, it's just what it was. Because we have a king, the fresh new king of the world, which is Manushehr, and he went to avenge his grandfather's killing, which was Iraj. Because, alright, I mean, you have to listen to the rest of the episode for it to make sense, but basically what you have to keep in mind is that there's been a very big war, a very violent one, but the good guys won. I mean, I don't know how to do this. They are the good guys. Manushehr is the good guy indeed, and they won, and now Manushehr sits in the throne of the world and rules upon basically everything, and more or less his kingdom is in peace. Everything's fine. So we're gonna take a little digression here in the narrative because we are gonna meet a new character. Several new characters, but one of them that is especially important. As for today, I'm so excited. We enter the cycle of Zol and Simurgh. The emotion is real, but Simurgh is, first of all, the topic and the main focus of my thesis, of my doctoral research. She is at the center of everything I do. There's Simurgh. She is the reason I opened this project. She named this project. I'm the furthest of hers. So you would understand my excitement, I hope, because boy, am I excited. There's so much to tell you about her, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I really want to enjoy this ride, like if my throat allows me to. So, because, oh my God, you're also going to meet Zal. All right. You know what? I'm not going to spoil it for you. We're going to start reading right now. Welcome to the most beautiful part of the Shāh-nāmeh, and this is fact. This is factual, like it is. It's just like, it is the most beautiful part of the Shāh-nāmeh. Here we go. Now, I shall tell them an astonishing tale taken from the stories our ancestors told. See what strange events fate unfolded for Sam. Listen well, my child. So Sam is, we can consider him a minor king. It's a lord, a very powerful Pahlavan in the Shāh-nāmeh, and he is not the king of the world. He has a little territory he rules upon, but he's not the king, as in the general king. However, he's been a loyal subject to Manushehr, who is the king of Iran, and he's proven himself worthy of the position he occupies. He is an honest man, he is a brave man, he is loyal, hype maximum, I know. And a very convenient voice for my demon voices. So Sam he's just a very loyal subject to Manushehr and to righteousness and to the Lord and to light. Alright, so Sam had no child, and his heart grieved at this. There was a beautiful woman living in his private quarters. What is that? His full name is Samantha. Shh! That was a big surprise of it. That was the big surprise. No, his name is not Samantha, by the way. I wish it was. It would give the Shāh-nāmeh a very different tone, I must admit. But no, his name is not Samantha. His name is actually just Sam. But chat, just give me a wee second, and I'm gonna fix something with the lighting because I'm seeing this distortion here, and it's like always pride. And yeah, I'll be right back in just a wee second. There we go. We are ready to continue. Where was I? Alright, yeah. His name is not Samantha. His name is just Sam. Boring, I know, but I didn't name this. I didn't write this. I wish. So, there was a beautiful woman living in his private quarters. Her cheeks were like rose petals, her hair like musk. Remember, musk is a very, very expensive essence, very expensive perfume that is highly valued in Iran at this point. So you can imagine that saying that your hair always smells like musk is a way of also pointing at your wealth and saying how high in the social hierarchy you are positioned because you can afford sprinkling musk on your hair on a daily basis. Just saying. Her face was as splendid as the sun. You remember using the sun and moon, the celestial spheres, and the powerful connotation to remark, to highlight someone's beauty. And Sam had hopes that she would bear him a child. When he says a child, unfortunately, he means a baby boy because he wants to continue his lineage. And yes, I'm really sorry, this is still a book written in the 11th century. Oh, look! Because my post-it is green. So this is still a book written in the 11th century. So yes, he wants to have an heir that's a boy. We cannot blame them for the conceptions of the past. It was just what it was. And this happened. After some time, she gave birth to a beautiful boy whose radiance lit the world. But although, here comes the plot twist, although his face was bright as the sun, his hair was completely white, entirely. Given how that child looked, Sam was not told of his birth for a week. Because everyone was scared. All the women of his household wept over the boy, and no one dared to tell Sam that his beautiful woman had given birth to a son who was like an old man. The child is completely albinos, and that is a problem because in this universe, in this mythological universe, there is a monster. There's a creature. He's called Divesepede, and he's cunning. He is evil, and he's very, very feared. He's terrifying. So this boy being completely white is thought to be cursed. To be, there's not something okay with this baby boy. Something that's very wrong in here. And a week goes ahead. I mean, Sam doesn't know that he has a boy for a very long week until a very courageous wet nurse who had a lion spirit. Again, remember, comparing someone's spirit with a lion is something very positive. It's a way of indicating someone's braveness. She came bravely before Sam and said, "May Sam's day be prosperous and the heart of those who wish him ill be torn out. In your women's quarters, a fine boy has been born from your beloved." That's the woman that we were mentioning before. "His body is like pure silver," literally. "His face like paradise," also literally, because baby, he is gorgeous. "And you will find no ugly spot on him. His one fault is that his hair is white." Such is your fate, my lord. Brave words for a wet nurse. I really like this woman. Sam descended from his throne and went into the women's quarters. I mean, he doesn't believe what this woman's saying, because just put yourself in his shoes. Like, it's something shocking to know about, that just the baby, a newborn baby, looks like a very old man, because his hair is completely white, his body is completely white, and we don't know. Does it mention the color of Zal's eyes? I don't know. We shall carry on. When he saw his son's white hair, he despaired of the world, and lifting his face to the heavens, he complained bitterly. He's a whiny boy, alright? I mean, I kind of like some kind of, I'm emphasizing the kind of, and I'm always going to say this, my Shāh-nāmeh, my Twitch channel, my preferences. I do not hide my priorities here, and some ish. So he complained, my man, my pa, you already have a son. It doesn't matter what color his body or his hair is. I don't know, anyway. He complained bitterly. Oh God, who is above all failings and faults, whatever your command is good. Then accept what you have, you idiot. If I have committed a grave sin, if I have followed the ways of Ahriman, which remember is a dark spirit, is the opposite of Ahura Mazda in Zoroastrian religion, and here is a synonym of the devil himself, Satan himself, which, by the way, he's also made a cameo, already did, in this book. He's gonna do many more. I repent and pray that God will grant me forgiveness. My grieving soul writheth with shame, and the hot blood boils my heart. Dramatic. What shall I say about this ill-omened child when men ask about his black body and his hair as white as jasmine? Oh, so this is actually a strange translation, because we know for a fact in the Persian original it says that the body of Zal is entirely white, not actually black. Shall I say he's a demon's child? You see, he's scared that he's actually a spawn of Divisipede, that somehow Divisipede has managed, because he could, let me tell you, he perfectly could, curse his lineage and curse either the woman or Sam's seed or something in between. So it's like, yeah, he's really scared of the reach Divisipede's powers had. What was I? So, yeah, he is like a leopard whose skin is of two colors. No longer shall I call down blessings on Persia. I shall quit this land for shame. He's so, Sepid means white or white deep. Exactly. I believe after sometimes you call it Sefid, because an adaptation from Arabic, because, you know, when the Arabic language came to Persia, Arabic is not a language that has P, which, if you ask me, is a big flaw. So Persians did. So the ancient way of saying white in Persia is Sepid. However, nowadays is Sefid with an F, but both of them are correct. Yeah, I've seen them both, and both of them are correct, and people in Iran do understand you when you use any other two. Any other two are fine. Persian teaching with plumas. So he wants to actually flee from the land because he's so ashamed of a baby. Dramatic man. He gave orders that the child be taken far away. And so they did. This baby is a week old. Bear with. They took the boy and laid him down in the mountains. They go to the mountain range that has the name of Damavand. Do you remember Mount Damavand? This is where Zahok is chained, by the way. So Sam basically wants to send the boy away. So the wild beast will devour him, and, you know what? Problem solved. As one does. Good parenting skills. Excellent parenting skills, Sam. You know what? We don't have many, good fathers in the Shāh-nāmeh. All of them have something. Feridun doesn't name their kids. Who else? Well, Merdaz spoils a hog. Abatin, Feridun's father, just runs away and leaves his wife and his baby alone by themselves, and so, you know what, this is alright. So they take the baby away, and then they returned to court. The day ended, and the champion's innocent son had no knowledge of white or black. His father had caused all kindness from his heart and acted evilly towards his unweaned child. Because remember, Rostam is the best one. I beg to differ. To me, the best character in the entire Shāh-nāmeh is Simurgh, and if we take it out, Zahok. I really like Zahok. Oh, as father, you mean? Yeah, I think Rostam would win the first prize of Father of the Year, Father of the Book. We're gonna give that to Rostam, but Kiomars, we're gonna keep that little secret between you and me, because these people, the rest of the chat, don't know yet. We shall get there soon, hopefully. So they go to the mountain range, which is Alborz, and Team Baka. All right, Christian. Yes, always Team Barmoye. We love Barmoye in this project. So they came to the mountain range, and that is Albor, where is Mount Damavand. And this is where Zahok is. It changed, to the very core of Mount Damavand, there's Zahok, but also this mountain is a very special one in the Shāh-nāmeh literature, and I'm going to tell you why. The sacred mountain, the idea of the sacred mountain is, how to express, is fundamental for the self-defining narrative and the construction, the cosmography and cosmology of Zoroastrianism. That means the construction of the world as they understood it. So this mountain, which in Zoroastrianism we call it Harati, that comes from Avestan, and all Avestan is called Haraberozaiti. This mountain is the axis of the world. That means the celestial bodies just revolve around it. It makes the passing of time possible. It makes the sky phenomena possible, storms, rain, wind, sunlight, all this. It plays a very major role. So placing Simurgh in the top of Mount Damavand, you can actually start to scratch an idea of how important and powerful she is. And there she is. Like, Zal is not taken up because something interesting you should know, no mortal person could ever they could reach the peak by themselves of Damavand, because it's a place forbidden for humans. It's a place where the supernatural dwells. It's a place where magical creatures and higher beings are allowed, but not mortals, not people. And in this case, Zal is just left in the skirts of Zal is the baby, by the way. He's left on the skirts, just in hoping the wild beast will devour him and end the nightmare of this white cursed child forever. So there's Simurgh, but Simurgh is a mum and she has chicks. So when the chicks grew hungry, she flew up from her nest and she saw an unweaned, crying baby on the ground. His cradle was of thorns. His wet nurse was the earth. He was naked, and no milk touched his lips. The black earth surrounded him, and above his head the sun shone in the summit of the heavens. This is the 7, tops 8, 9 days old baby. He's been left alone and he's crying for his mother, who's been, I actually think a lot of the mom of this baby, how did she cope with the fact that they took her baby away from her and tossed her into the wilderness to die, to be devoured by beasts? How are you so cruel? Because people tend to like Zam, the dad, and I do not. How dare you? It's just a baby. He had done nothing, literally nothing. His only girl was being born. It was not even his doing. Oh no. But don't worry, things get better. Sure, but when they find me crying naked on the ground, I'm an embarrassment to the family and running my sister's wedding. No. Oh my god, what an image, Kiwi. Oh. I mean, you got a point. It's very unfair. So would that his mother and father had been leopards, at least they would have shaded him from the sun. So he is expressing a lot of terrible things that are happening to the baby. He is lying on thorns. He has no protection from the sun. He's not being nursed, so he's hungry. And it even says that it would have been better for him that his mom and dad were actually wild animals. They would have treated him with a little bit more of care. This says very little in favor of humankind, if you ask me. Simorg flew down from the clouds, stretched out her claws and clutched him, lifting him up from the hot stones on which he lay. She flew him back to her nest in the Elborth mountain, where she intended to take him to her chicks, thinking they could feed off him and pay no attention to his cries. Basically, Simorg is doing what other predators do. She's a bird of prey, and she's hunting. She's feeding her youngsters. But God, that is Yazdan, he had other plans. So that when the Simorg and her chicks looked at the little child, bear with Butcha, pay attention to this. This is beautiful. When Simorg and her chicks looked at the little child weeping bitter tears, something wonderful to relate happened. They took pity on him, staring in astonishment at his lovely face. Simorg, she just fell in love with Zal. By intervention of God, Simorg felt the compassion of a mom and didn't eat Zal. Actually, she loved him. This is so beautiful. I love it. She sought out the most delicate morsels of the chase for the boy, touching them to his lips. And in this way, many days passed, and the child grew into a fine young man. Simorg, understanding, again by the intervention of God, who is, the one who has orchestrated all this plan and the big thinking of this point, through God's intervention, Simorg has understood that Zal is alone in the world. No one's gonna come for him, and he's just been abandoned. So because she's a mom, she thinks that is so unfair for him, and she feels, first of all, pity, then compassion, and then the mom's love. So she adopts Zal. How cool is this? Like Mowgli from the Jungle Book and all the literature references you want to think of. Simorg adopts this baby, and from this moment on, Zal will refer to Simorg as his only mom. His one and only mom is a supernatural creature, which, by the way, in the scale of power in the Shāh-nāmeh, we have God, Yazdan, at the top of it, but immediately underneath, we have Simorg. She's a badass. There's not enough saying about her. And I really like this part. So he grew. By the way, he snores with blood. In case you haven't figured that one out by yourselves, he snores, and he grows by drinking blood instead of milk. And that's a powerful thing. First of all, enhances the wild aspect of Zal's behavior, of his personality. He's a very passionate man. He has a very fiery, flaming heart. But also, drinking blood for sometimes is not accepted whatsoever in the Quran. No, you should not do that, and is punished by the Islamic law, and is not something that is neither enhanced or like highlighted in Zoroastrianism. You should not be praised for drinking blood. However, in this case, sometimes blood plays a different role in the sense that it transmits courage, because the big predators, courage, bravery, strength, power, prowess, because the big predators, those that have the highest symbolism in Iranian mythology, do in fact prey and drink blood. I'm thinking about lions, for example. And they do. So if the predators do it, they find their way around it, if you know what I'm saying. So he just grew. He grew into a very fine young man. Men with caravans passing by through the mountains would catch sight of this noble youth, whose body was like a cypress tree, remember once more, here we have it, the cypress tree, the sacred tree, one of the sacred trees, but actually the most sacred of them all, the cypress. Comparing someone to a cypress is a way of saying they have energy, they're tall, they're beautiful. It's a sign of beauty. If someone calls you a cypress tree, thank them. They are giving you a very big and important compliment, if I might say so myself. And also, the cypress is an evergreen. An evergreen tree, never withers. So that is also a symbol for eternity, eternal youth, and eternal energy. And Zal, believe me, he is energetic. Boy, he is. So caravans passing by would spot a young man with white hair and covered in animal skin running around, followed by the chicks of the greatest bird of them all, playing, coming up and down the most sacred mountain in the entire Iran. So how's that for a first impression? Just saying. Whose body was like a cypress tree, whose chest was like a mountain of silver because it's white, and whose waist was as slim as a reed. So boy is hard. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but I don't know if Frisbee Gourmet is here, my beautiful friend from Mazanderkas, but she would agree with me that when Persians give these kind of physical description, they are implying that indeed the boy is something else, something beautiful to look at, if you know what I mean. Rumors of him spread through the world, since neither good or evil ever remain hidden. And news of this glorious youth reached Sam, the son of Nariman. One night, Sam is the father, if you're following. One night, Sam was asleep, his heart wearied with the cares of the world, because he's a ruler and all of that. But yeah, you're a terrible father, Sam, by the way, just saying. So he's shaped like Johnny Bravo. I mean, we don't have an insight of the width of his chest, so I'm gonna say no, at least for a wee moment. I'm gonna say no, but could be. Sam dreamt of a man from India galloping toward him on an Arab horse. Remember again, the Arab horse is a symbol of wealth and high position in society. This man, the man from India riding the Arab horse, brought him good news of that noble sapling, his son. When he woke, he summoned his priest and told them of the dream and the rumors he had heard. "What do you say to this?" he asked. "What does your wisdom make of it?" "You should go pick up your kid, bastard." Young and old, all those present, said to Sam, "Lions and leopards in the stony lairs, the fish and the monsters of the sea, all love and nourish their children and give thanks to God for them. You have broken this bond of benevolence in casting out your innocent child. Talk of passive aggressiveness here. Turn to God and repent, since he is the guide to good and evil." So they're basically scolding, telling Sam off for what he did. He's compared to animals and even to monsters. They say to them, lions and leopards in the stony lairs, fish and the monsters of the sea, even the most terrible creatures in this existence, they have a bond with their kids and they bring them up. They care for them. They treat them well. And you have to send your baby away because his hair was white. Way to go, Sam. Very good job. You turn to God and you say you're sorry. So when dark night came and Sam fell asleep, his heart was filled with turmoil. No kidding. In his dream, he saw a banner fluttering on a mountain in India. Then a beautiful slave appeared, leading a mighty army. A priest was on his left, and a wise sage on his right. One of these two came forward and said coldly to Sam, "Presumptuous and immoral man, you have waged shame before God from your heart and eyes. What kind of a hero are you? if a bird has nourished your song. Wait a second, they're not a bird, the bird. The most magnificent bird ever existed. You calm your tits, my dream creature, dear. I see them. Excuse me. You shall not talk poorly of Simurg, not on my watch. No. This is the character still talking. If it is a fault to have white hair, look at yourself, whose beard is white and whose hair is like the leaves of the willow. That means grey-ish, like. So again, they're scolding him, like, oh, so you sent your baby away because his hair was white? Look at your hair. It's whitening because of age. So, should we say, you away too? I would, if you ask me. But the answer here to go to is no. You despise your son, but God has been his protector, loving him more than a wet nurse, while you were devoid of affection for him. Say it. Sam cried out in his sleep, like a lion caught in a trap. When he woke, Sam called his counselors and the leaders of his army and set off for the mountains to reclaim what he had rejected. At least he's repentant, he's learned his lesson, one may think. Enfin, he saw a mountain whose peak reached the Pleiades. You know the stars, the Pleiades? And on it, a great nest, woven from ebony and sandalwood. So that must smell amazing, let me tell you. I love the scent of sandalwood. Sam stared at the granite slopes, at the terrifying Simurg, and at his fearsome nest, which was like a palace towering in the clouds. But it was not one built by men's hands, or from clay and water. So basically, Sam arrives in there, and Simurg is waiting for him. How does she know? Because she is omnipotent. She knows everything, basically. And she's waiting for him, like, daringly, I shall say. And she's terrifying. Do not be mistaken. Simurg is a loving mom, and she loves Zol to the extreme. But she does not like humans that much. Why? Because humankind are idiots, as Sam just proved to us right now in 5 bloody minutes. So she's not happy about it, and she stands there. Pride being her crown, and glory being her vest. So, yeah. Have I mentioned she's terrifying? Should I say that again? She is terrifying, okay? So Sam kind of wets himself thinking of the consequences of have angered such a magnificent creature. So what does he do? He's very smart in this one. He does what he's expected to do. Oh my goodness. He bowed his face down to the dirt, praising God who had created this bird and this mountain whose slopes reached to the stars, acknowledging him as just and all-powerful. He looked for a way to climb the mountain, seeking out wild animals' tracks, and said, "Oh, you who are higher than all high places, than thought itself, and the sun and the moon, if this youth is indeed from my loins, me cago en la leche. Oh, all right, and not the seed of some evil demon, help me to climb this mountain." And then what he does, he apologizes, he's repentant, and he shows his apology not only to God, but to Simurg. He's apologizing to her. He's saying sorry for his poor behavior to Simurg. Why am I emphasizing all of this? First of all, because she's the best character in the entire book, and second of all, because this gives us hints of how highly deemed this bird was. Because remember, yes, she's almighty, she can speak, she knows of medicine, she's a stormer, she has powers over the weather and all that jazz, but she's still an animal. She's a bird, a supernatural one, yes, but a bird. And a king of men bows to her and to her mountain and apologizes and says sorry for being an idiot and acting like a prick. I hope you can forgive me. Please give my son back. I am very sorry. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. So Simurg hears what he's saying. She knew this was coming. She was expecting it to happen. If I'm she knew this was gonna take place. So she turns to Zal and says, "You have endured the hardship of growing up in this nest, and now your father, Sam, who is a champion among heroes." You're being generous, Simur, but I'm gonna give that to you. Simur, great entrance, indeed. She is amazing. I mean, I'm not gonna stop saying that ever. Who is champion among heroes, has come to this mountain searching for his son. He honors and values you now. I must give you back and return you to him safe and sound. And then something happens. Oh my god, this is so pure. Something happens, and that is that Zal, just put yourselves in Zal's shoes for a moment. So he doesn't know anything else. He's been brought up in a mountain, and this mountain is his home. The nest is his home. So he thinks, Azize Delam, he thinks Simurg doesn't love him anymore. He thinks that his own mom is trying to get rid of him, because this is the kind of damage he's been done from the very beginning. He's like, Azizam, oh my god. So Zal says, you have tired of my friendship, haven't you? Your nest has been a noble home for me, and 2 of your feathers have been a glorious crown to me. For me, you're my mother, and your siblings, your offspring are my brothers. So he considers Simur to be his real mom and the chicks to be his siblings. He doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to be just delivered to this random human guy that claims to be his father, who, by the way, he doesn't have a memory of because he was sent away when he was 7, 8, 9 days old. I don't care. He doesn't have a memory, or he doesn't hold any love for him, because exactly, therapy is what Zal has to go to. Exactly, yeah, go to therapy, treat your traumas, do not keep them. So yeah, isn't this gorgeously, beautifully written? Like, Zal really thinks Simur is trying to get rid of him. No. But Simur, she knows better, and the reason she is sending Zal away with his father is because she knows Zal has a very big and important destiny to fulfill. The role of destiny is key to the narrative of the Shāh-nāmeh, is what makes the narrative go around, basically. And Zal has to do something. He has to come back to civilization to fulfill his destiny. And Simurg knows of this. She does know. Why? Because she knows everything. Because she knows bloody everything, because she's amazing, and she knows what is best for his son. So then Simur replies, when you see the throne and crown and the ceremonial of the Kayanid court, we are still with the Kayanids, by the way. We left the Pishtadis and we started with Manusher, and we have the Kayanids. Although, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but Sam, Zal, and his descendants, they come from the house of Nariman, which is another character very important from Sistan. Sistan is an area in the Transoxiana province near Khorasan. Do you localize yourself? I will show you in a map one day. So, this nest will mean nothing to you. Go. See what fate has in store for you. Because she knows what's coming, but she's not saying. Take these feathers of mine with you, so that you will always live under my protection, my child, since I brought you up beneath my wings with my own children, and I do consider you to be a children of mine. Oh my god, they're so pure. This is so beautiful. Oh, if any trouble comes to you, if there is talk of good and ill, throw one of my feathers into the fire, and my glory will at once appear to you. I shall come to you in the guise of a black cloud and bring you safely back here. So this is the reason my project is named Las Plumas de Simur, which means the feathers of Simur, because this is the last gift, the departing gift Simur gives to Zal for him to burn if he's in trouble. there's a lot of things here, okay, apart from my overflowing emotion. There's a lot of things here. First of all, we have, again, once more, the role of fire as a channel of communication. This comes from, let me hear it from your lips, Zoroastrianism, of course, yeah. Fire as a sacred element that can communicate Simurgh and Zal, no matter how far apart they are. That's one of the things. Then we have Simurgh saying that she considers Zal to be her own kind. She is, in fact, his mom. He's his mom, so that means from this moment onwards, the house of Nariman, that is Zal and all his descendants, are gonna be protected by her. She becomes an apothropaic figure. Apothropaic, that means protective. She's the protective spirit of a dynasty. I don't think he did Kiumars, yeah, because Simurgh gives Zal 3 feathers. At least that's what we what we have thought from reading the Shāh-nāmeh. But he only uses 2 of them. We shall see why. All of the reasons were justified, if you ask me. And so yeah. And also, this is beautiful. Period. I love this part so much. And this was, oh yes, Caesar. Then she hardened her heart for the parting and lifted him up, soaring into the clouds, and set him down before his father. She hardened her heart because she's suffering. She's sad that the boy, she's sad that her boy is leaving. Of course she is. Oh my God. The youth's hair reached below his chest. His body was like a mammoth's, and his cheeks were as fresh as the spring. So basically, Zal is in very good shape. His hair is very long and very wide because he's never trimmed it. And he's strong. He's very strong. I mean, he grew up in the mountains surrounded by wild animals and supernatural creatures, because I'm pretty sure in that mountain is where baddies dwell. There will be some minor deeps around and some spirits and, all that jazz. Maybe a dragon too, I want to think. So when his father saw him, he wept. Pay attention, Butcher. Bowing his head before the Simurgh and paying homage to her, because that is how it shall be done. Because you screw up some and you have to ask for her forgiveness, because if she wanted to, she could chop your head right in that instant, because she is very powerful and she's very pissed at you, but she's not gonna kill you because you have to take care of her little baby who is Zal. So you're safe by now, Sam, but we're watching you. We have you in our sight. Do you see the importance Simurgh is given, that humans bow to her? No other creature is revered in the Shāh-nāmeh like this. No other than God itself. So, just saying, one more detail on how amazing she is. So, also, by the way, Sam is terrified. Okay, he's legit terrified. We'll see through the poem that sometimes even Zal himself is terrified of his mom, because, again, she doesn't enjoy the company of humans that much. Sam stared at the youth from head to foot and saw that he was worthy of the Khayanite crown and throne. It was like, wow, what a fine boy have I actually have. Like, yes, you do, you dumbass. His chest and arms were like a lion's, his face like the sun, his heart was a champion's, and his arm was that of a swordsman. So Zal is very strong, and he's a skilled fighter, because he's learned to fight in the mountains. Yeah, tough growing up, I tell you. So, his eyebrows were pitch black, Zal's, I mean. His lips like coral, and his cheeks the color of blood. That means he's healthy. Hi, Maria. Sam's heart felt the happiness of paradise, and he called down blessings on his song. Good timing. I mean, better now than never, I guess. I don't know. He's wrapped the boy's body in a champion's cloak. I think this is the first time ever that Zal is wearing actual clothes, like human clothes. And they set off down the mountain. When they reached its base, Sam had a horse and royal clothes brought for his son. The army ranged itself before Sam, their hearts filled with happiness, and they set off on the return journey, preceded by elephants bearing drummers. The air filled with dust as they travelled, and the blare of trumpets, the din of drums, the clash of Indian cymbals, and the cavalry's cries accompanied them as they joyfully entered the city. So basically, Sam has organized this massive parade to receive Zal and to, in a way, to show publicly, to show to God and to the rest of the world that he is repentant of what he did. And he does this in this exaggerated way, just parading Zal from one side to the other of the city, and it's a very big public event that Sam has recovered his son. So big that Manusher, the king himself, hears about this and wants to know. He's curious. Manusher, the king Manusher, he heard that Sam had returned from the mountains in splendor. Manusher was pleased and thanked God for his good news. He sent Nozar, which is another character, hurrying to Sam to offer his congratulations and to tell Sam to come to the king so that he might see the face of this youth who had been brought up in a nest by the powerful Simurgh. Then he could return to Zabolistan to serve the king there. So basically, Zal is the talk of the kingdom because he is a human brought up by the immortal and supernatural Simurgh. He's been brought up in a mountain, not in a mountain, in the mountain in Mount Damavan. So he's a big deal. Everyone wants to meet him, and of course the king has priority. Remember, Sam is a very loyal servant of Manusher. So Nozar, this character, this messenger, reached Sam and saw the hero's son with him. Sam dismounted and the two embraced. He asked for news of the king and his warriors, and Nozar handed over his message. Sam kissed the ground and immediately set off for the court as his king had commanded. Sam and Manusher are really good friends. I don't mean this in a they are good friends. I don't know if there's something else, but they are good friends, alright? I don't ship these two. Nah, I don't do. I don't like Sam, and I really like Manusher. Manusher came out with his entourage to greet him, and as soon as Sam saw Manusher's banner, he dismounted and went forward on foot as a way of humbling himself before the Persian king. Manusher ordered him to mount his horse, like, don't be silly, come up your horse, and the two set off together for the Persian court. I'm imagining Zal just, with his head is spinning around like a record and asking himself, what the hell am I doing here? Who are these people? What is going on? They seem like very good friends. They are. I don't know if there's anything else, but they are good friends. Oh, sorry. Manusher sat in state on the throne and placed the royal crown in his head. On one side of him sat Qaren, on the other Sam. Sam and Qaren are two generals that fought with Manusher and helped them carry out with his vengeance against his very evil great uncles. So, the Chamberlain ushered in Sam's son, Zal, splendidly dressed with a golden crown on his head. The golden crown over white hair must have been stunning to contemplate, don't you think? And bearing a golden mace. Golden accessories for someone that is entirely white. Good choice, yeah. Anna Wintour will be so proud of you. The king stared in wonder at his fine stature. By the way, I haven't mentioned this, but Zal is noticeably taller than the average person in the room, even taller than Manusher. Zal is huge. He's very, very tall. And he stared in wonder at his fine stature and handsome face, which seemed made to delight our hearts. The boy's a hottie. He said to Sam, "Look after him well, for my sake. Never cross him. Rejoice in no one but him. He has the royal far, the strength of a lion, a wise heart, and a saint's manner. And then Sam told the king of how and why he had decided that his child should die. He told him of Simurgh and her nest. He told him of his regret and his belated quest to find his son. Throughout the world, men heard of Zam and Zal and of this wondrous bed. So this is when we're starting to see that Zal's upbringing is a big deal. Like, it's just like, he is something. He's something else. And every single part of the kingdom is filled with the stories of his supernatural and magical upbringing. The king gave orders that sages, astrologers, and priests should inquire into Zal's horoscope to see what the stars had decreed for him. Remember? Oh, written in the stars, a million miles away. The importance of reading the stars, the horoscopes. Feridun had his 3 sons' birth charts read to him, and he could see in the stars what ugly destiny was ahead of them. This is because the importance of astronomy and astrology, which by the way are very closely intertwined. In fact, they are just one single thing. The observation of the sky as a way of predicting the future is key in the medieval Iranian world. I'm hoping to make a live stream just on this in the near future. Patrons, are you hearing me? By the way, a very quick digression. If you will support me on Patreon from my tier Murshid above, you can actually vote for your favorite topics to come, and astronomy and astrology are being debated. Zal doesn't have he hasn't been given a birth chart because he's brought up in the mountains. You know, he's no regular child. So he needs his horoscope and his birth chart to be read. He needs to know. The world needs to know. Is a fundamental thing to be given to noblemen, to princes, to everyone. So, the astrologers studied the stars and said, "May you live forever in prosperity. He will be a famous champion, proud and intelligent, and a fine horseman." Because I want to think this is because Zal knows his way around animals because he's grown up with them. If Simurgh is so great, why didn't they make an astrological child for the wild baby? You mean an astrological chart? I don't know if I understand it. Anyway, so the king rejoiced to hear these words, and Sam's heart too was freed from sorrow. Basically, they are reading the stars and saying Zal is going to have a magnificent future. He's brilliant. He is going to be a fine warrior. He's going to be a fine horseman, a fine archer. So yeah, nothing to worry about. He's just fine. You know, has his hair white, but nothing biggie on it. Manusher gave Sam a robe of honor which drew praise from everyone, as well as horses with golden saddles, a classic. Here, trying to improve my English. You're very much welcome, Antonio. Very much welcome here. And where was I? Oh yeah, we're gonna read now. Hello, Bob.
Hello.
Hi. What are you doing here? Can I help you?
No.
All right. Okay. Simurgh is gone already. I already read that part. We're just with the boring humans again. Bob is flying over. Yes, Bob is indeed flying over. He's my guardian spirit, actually. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you've seen him. You've seen his actual, he's material. But I always think of him as my guardian spirit. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. We're going to read now a very long list of gifts and what we can learn from it. Basically, this is what... with embassies and when kings meet each other, there's an exchange of gifts. A lot of gifts. So here we're going to see examples of what the Persian kings, the Iranian kings give away. Arab horses with golden saddles, Indian swords in golden scabbards, a lot of gold, of course, because, Manusher is king of the world and basically he owns everything and he's loaded. It's expected. Brocades, silks, fine carpet, the importance of textiles. Not only jewels and gold are important, embroideries and brocades, fabrics, textiles are a way of expressing one's wealth. Very important one, actually. We have rubies and gold, slaves from the west, dressed in western brocade with jeweled designs on a golden ground. Slaves from the west, but Shah. Yes, because normally when we think about exotic slaves in Europe, we imagine that they come from the Middle East, tops from the Far East. In this area, the exotic is the west, so they bring the slaves from the west. Trays of emeralds, golden and silver goblets set with turquoise and filled with musk, camphor and saffron, cuirasses, helmets, boarding spears, arrows, bows and maces. Military, an expression of military power, giving weapons away as a gift. Very important. I love this part so much. Thrones worked in turquoise and ivory, ruby seal rings and golden belts. All of this for Sam and Zol. Just for them. And then he wrote and sealed a charter full of celestial praise for Sam. I don't know what Sam gets all the glory if the supernatural being here is his kid. He's like stealing the thunder. I don't like Sam. I'm really sorry. Bestowing on him lordship over Kabul, Danbar, May, and India, the Sea of China as far as the Sea of Sindh, as well as Zabolistan as far as Bost. So basically, he's given to Zal and first to Sam, then Zal when he succeeds. Sam, he's giving a ton of new territories to rule upon. Madre mía. When he had received the charter and these gifts, Sam called for his horse, rose and said to the king, "Kind king, Lord of justice and righteousness, in this world, from the realm of the fish to the sphere of the moon." This is so important, Bishar, because at the top, this has to do with Islamic cosmography and the way they thought Earth was divided. But I cannot extend much in this, but basically, down below, in the fathoms below, there's water, and on top, there's God, like this vertical axis. Amazing. No one like you has ever reigned. No one had your generosity, justice, nobility, and wisdom. The world is at peace because of you, which is true, by the way. You treat its treasures with contempt, and may the day never come when only your name remains to us. Beautiful, by the way. Good speech, Zal. You could have loved your son when the moment had come. Actually, I don't know why do I complain so much about Sam being a nasty father, because he had been a decent father, Seymour wouldn't be in the book, and that would be a pity for me. He bowed and kissed the throne, and then had the drums strapped on his elephants. All the town turned out to watch as he and Zal set off for Zabolistan, which is their home. Zal's new home. Ta-da! As he approached, news of his investiture preceded him, and the inhabitants decorated Sistan as though it were paradise. The ground was of musk, the bricks of gold. Oh look, is it Dorothy? Yeah, and the Wizard of Oz. And as Sam passed, people tossed musk, saffron, and gold and silver coins over him. Careful when people throw coins at you, okay? You could be hit, and that would be a pity because they hurt, all right? Don't throw coins at anybody. The world was filled with rejoicing, with both the nobles and the common people joining in. All the nobility came before Sam, saying, "May the young man's arrival here be auspicious." And then they called down blessings on Zal and showed him with gold coins. Zal dodged those. Then Sam took his ease with wine and music, bestowing robes of honor on the wise and the noble, and all his courtiers competed to be honored the most. So basically, there's a party, a massive one, and Sam gets wasted. All of this just because of Zal and his supernatural self. I love it. Sam, this is the last part we're going to read, and then we shall stop, because I've been reading for quite a while, but this is a part you should read, all complete, to get a better idea of what's coming next. Sam summoned the experienced men of the country to speak with them. "Noble and prudent advisors," he said, The wise king's orders are that I lead an army to invade Gorgarsan and Mazanderan. Bad idea. Keep this in mind, butcher. No one should venture in Mazanderan. Why? Well, Mazanderan is the northern province of the Deves. You don't go to the north, but they do. Just say it. Just keep it here. However, my heart and soul, my son, will remain here, while my eyes weep bitter tears at our separation. So now you weep. Now you weep because you're separate. I'm going to stop complaining, okay? I promise I'm going to stop complaining. Am I going to sneeze? Just in case, Afiat Bosham. God gave me... Alright. In my youth and arrogance, I acted unjustly. God gave me a son, and I abandoned him. Yes, you did. In my ignorance, I did not realize his worth. The great Simurg took him. God assigned him to her care, and she brought him up until he was like a lofty cypress. I reviled him, she valued him. Yes, she did. When the time had come for me to be pardoned, God returned him to me. Because God is wise and so is Simurg. By the way, Zal was not happy with coming back to you. Just saying, son. Just freaking saying. Know that this youth is my refuge, and I leave him among you to remind you of me. Treat him well, advise him well, show him the path to act a noble life. So basically, he is bestowing his power over Zal because he has to go away to Saran and Mazanderan. Sam turned then to Zal and said, Act justly and generously. This is the way to seek happiness. Know then that Zabolistan is your home. All this realm is under your command. See that the land flourishes beneath your reign and that you make your friend's heart rejoice. What friend? I mean, the friends he's gonna make because he's flipping awesome and lovely and everyone loves him. The keys of the treasury are yours, and my heart will be glad of sorrowful according to how you prosper or fail. No pressure, by the way. I just brought you into civilization, but I'm gonna give you an entire kingdom, the keys of my treasury, and good luck, boy. You're on your own. Amazing dad skills. Oh my god, I really dislike this character. I hadn't realized how much I despise him. Young Zal. Oh my god, poor Zal, poor baby. I don't know how old he is, like around in his 20s, I guess. 17, 18, I don't know. Young Zal said to Sam, how can I live without you now? Now that we have been reconciled, how can you contemplate separation again? If ever a man was born in sin, I am that man, and it is right and justice. It is right that justice is denied me. I ate dirt and tasted blood once, held in the great bird's claws. Now I am far from my protector, and it is fate that protects me. Of the world's flowers, my share is only thorns, but one cannot fight against good degrees. Aziz de la, well, basically, yeah, Saul is saying, I pity me. I was rejected when I was a baby. I was brought up in a very nice home. Now I get to be separated from that home, tossed into this vandalic world, like civilized human world. I know nothing about it, yet I have to rule it, not only to adapt and to live in it, but to rule it? This is very unfair. So, Sam said, wait for it. Sam is acting like a dad. It is right to say what's in your heart like this. Say it. Say whatever you wish. But the astrologers have seen that a good star guides you, and they have said that here is your home, here is your army, and here is your crown. We cannot quarrel with the heavens, and it is here that your love must flourish. So basically, the astrologers said you're gonna fulfill a great destiny and that you're gonna be awesome. So you're on your own, kids. Bye. Oh my god. Now gather a group of companions about you, horsemen and men eager for knowledge. Learn from them, listen to them, gain all kinds of knowledge, and taste the pleasures they bring. Enjoy life and be generous. Seek knowledge and be just. So you're on your own, kid. Oh, joda. Oh, yeah. Oi, Baba. He spoke, and the din of drums rang out. The air turned pitch black. The ground was the colour of ebony, and the ringing of bells and the clash of Indian cymbals was heard before the king's pavilion. Sam gathered his forces and set off for war, leaving his child completely alone. Bravo! Zal accompanied him for 2 stages of the way, and then his father clasped him tightly in his arms and wept extravagantly. So you are the one who's separating from your boy, yet you dare to weep extravagantly in front of everyone else. I really dislike this character, just decided that. He commanded his son to return with happiness in his heart to the crown and throne. Zal took the journey home, pondering on how he could live so that he would leave a good name behind him. Poor baby, he's confused. Legit, he's confused. He took his place on the ivory throne and placed the glittering crown on his head, resplendent with armbands and an ox-headed mace. You know who has one too? Feridun did. One of the best characters in the entire book, King Feridun. Amazing. And a golden torque and golden belt. He was eager to learn and summon knowledgeable men from every province, astrologers and priests, as well as warriors and horsemen, and discuss all manner of subjects with them. This is very important because in Persian thought, there is 2 things that there's 2 things a prince should master. They are called Bazm and Razm, which is the feast and the fight. They have to know their way. I mentioned this in another live stream. They have to know their way around social gatherings, feasts, courtly life in general, but they also have to know the way around hunting, war, and combat in general. So this is what Zal is doing. He is catching up with his very delayed princely education because even though Simorg is amazing, I don't really think she cared much about Bazm and Razm, if you ask me. Day and night, he was closeted with them, discussing both weighty and trivial matters. Zal grew to be so learned that he was like a shining star in all the world. Of course you are, Aziz the Lamb. You are the brightest star in my sky. In all the world, no one had ever seen another man with his knowledge and understanding, and so the heavens turned, spreading a canopy of love over Zam and Zal. And this is where we are going to stop. Thank you so much, Bacha, for staying with me. This is indeed my favorite part of the Shāh-nāmeh. I really like Simurg. I really like Zal. I really dislike Sam, as I just figured out this evening with you. Boy, do I dislike it. But I really hope you enjoyed the reading. I am very excited for the things that are to come. Many, many exciting things ahead in the Book of Kings. Yeah, in case you want to listen to the rest of the episodes, you can find them on Spotify podcast, or you can find them on iBox, and also you can find them over here in the Twitch channel. Just go around if you want to explore a little bit, and if you cannot find them, don't worry. You can always message me on my social media, and I will send them to you. Because there's not. We have met Simur. Yes, you have met Simur. Now you know one of the very many reasons she is amazing. And one of the most beautiful aspects of Simur, if you ask me, is her aspect of her side as a mom. I really like that. But worry not, she will indeed return. She will. And we've entered a very sweet cycle filled with important characters, and we entered now the heroic time. Remember, the Shāh-nāmeh was divided in 3 parts. We have the mythical era, the heroic era, and the historical era. So now we enter the heroic one. The biggest one, actually, is the most extensive of the Shāh-nāmeh, and I cannot wait to share it with you. But thank you so much for tuning in with me. Thank you to all the people who's followed the channel. Thank you to all the people who subscribed, and thank you to my patrons. As always, it's just been a delight. I really like reading the Book of Kings to you, because this is my attempt of the Book of Kings being available to someone at some point, in this internet world. So this has been a pleasure. If you're new to this channel, hi, welcome, Hosh Omadi. My name is Plumas, this is Las Plumas de Simur, and here we talk about mythology, literature, magic, stars, and many other beautiful things, history and art, of course, from Iran and Mesopotamia. And yeah, you're very much welcome here. Welcome to the family, new butcher. And yeah, great job. I'm really happy you enjoyed it. And I shall see you. Maybe you want to have a tea with me on Saturdays at 3 p.m. We have tea together on this Twitch channel. You can come to the Plumas or Royalty, and yeah, you can follow the social media of the project, and maybe you can consider supporting me on Patreon. I would love that to happen, because that means I can stay here and keep doing this. So, Butcher, thank you for a lovely evening. I've enjoyed myself to its most, and until we see each other next time, remember, create, explore, and have fun. I will see you soon. Bacha, have a lovely week, and Khudafez.